everyone, I'm Colleen. Thanks for being here tonight. Can you imagine your mom's a roofer? I couldn't either until she put a roof on our house. I'll never forget because I was about 12 years old at the time, and we had a leaky roof and we didn't have enough money to fix it professionally, so my mom got a book and she read it, and then she climbed up on the roof and fixed it. Took her about a week, and that's just a perfect example of the kind of person my mom is. She's incredibly dedicated and hardworking. She's made a lot of sacrifices for her kids over the years, and she's shown me what true compassion looks like. My mom has been a nurse for well over 40 years. She worked for Temple Hospital, Cancer Treatment Centers of America, also various home health care companies and travel companies. She loves to learn and challenge herself, and she's a great example of hard work over the years. My mom was a single mom. She divorced my dad when I was about 3 years old. She moved us from our family home in Chalfont. It was her dream house, 9-acre farmette. Don't know if that's a real thing, but that's what she called it, farmette, with a horse and a pony. She moved us from there to our 3-bedroom house in Feasterville, where I grew up. There she worked full-time and overtime in order to support her 3 girls and also my cousin who lived with us. While doing all of this, she continued to go to school to earn her BSN. She graduated from Temple University in 2003, along with my older sister Lisa. They graduated from the same school for the same major on the same day. So that was a really proud day for her, and also for us because we watched her work so long and so hard to accomplish that goal. I was inspired then, but I'm more inspired now that I'm older because I have a daughter of my own, and I look back at what she went through, and it makes me realize that it's never too late to give up on what you started. So not only is she hardworking, but she's also made a lot of sacrifices for us along the way. After the divorce, she wanted to make sure that her kids had as much of a normal life, in quotes, as possible. So she gave up her own comfort, freedom, social life in order to provide her kids with a better life. One way that she did this, aside from working nonstop, was that she slept in our basement. It was a finished basement, it wasn't like a concrete slab, but it was still our rec room, couch, TV, junk collected from 3 girls. And then in the corner was her bed. And the only source of privacy that she had was a room divider made of particle board. So that was the only privacy she had, and that was my whole childhood. And then she also kept her clothes in the hot water closet in the basement. And I never realized at the time what she was giving up so that we could each have our own room and our own privacy, but she gave that up for us. She also gave up her time and her social life, working overtime and working overtime 6 nights a week through most of my childhood. She did that so that we could have stable housing, so that we could go to dance class, and so that we could go on vacation every year, which we did. She never wanted us to feel less than any other family that had 2 parents, so she did without any kind of luxuries, no hair, no salon appointments, no nails, no new clothes, etc. So aside from the sacrifices that she made for her family and the hard work, she also has shown me what true compassion looks like. She's always been the kind of woman that wants to empower other people, and she did so every day. When you're a nurse, you have a lot of options as far as what area you want to work in, and she chose to work with terminally ill children when I was a young child myself. She did that so that she could give these families a better quality of life. And when most people hear about the topic of terminally ill children, they all have the same reaction, which is, I could never do that, it's so sad, how do you do that? And when I asked her that, she said, well, it's not about how I feel about it, it's about providing care to these families to really give them a sense of control in a situation where they are really powerless. So she enabled them by giving them care in their homes to not have to go to the hospital, not have to go to the doctor several times a week, and that really gave them time with their families, time with their loved ones, and their friends. And she was sad, and she cried, and she went to funerals, but at the end of the day, what she got back from that, the ability to give these families that gift of time, made it worth it to her. And the last example I'm going to give my mom's compassion was just a few years back. She was working in Florida as a home care nurse. And she met another woman there named Chris, who was working as a travel nurse as well. And she learned in just a few short weeks that she had lost her significant other of over 20 years. Now, they were never married, and he was kind of the head of the household, so he paid all the bills. The house was in his name. And when he passed, his kids decided that they were going to sell the house. So Chris found herself without a home and trying to grieve the loss of her significant other. So without hesitation, my mom took her in and let her stay with her for several months rent-free while she helped her figure out her finances. She helped her through the grieving process, and they really became friends over this time. But the fact that she took in a relative stranger without being asked, and when I talked to her about it, she said, well, what could I do? She saw a woman who was vulnerable, she needed help, she needed support, so she did what she always does, and she took action. I can think of a million more examples of ways that my mom lives compassionately, works hard, and makes sacrifices. She's a person that takes action, and I think we can all learn from people like that. I try to be the kind of person she is every day, and I ask myself what she would do in a given situation. And usually the answer is that she would act. My mom is my idol. She's my hero. She showed me what hard work and determination do in fact pay off, that sacrifices are worth making, and that compassion is an action, not just a thought. Thank you.